Welcome to Bits and Pieces Quilting. Today I want to talk to you about some of the projects that I look forward to working on over the coming weeks and months. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Michelle. In my last video, I provided a bit of an update on some of the projects I've completed recently. And in this video, I thought I'd go through some of the projects that I'm looking forward to working on in the future. The next project is inspired by Sue's at Revelation Quilts. I'll put a link in the description below. She calls it the Putama quilt, and in her video, which you should check out, she shows 3 different layouts. My favorite was not the one she chose for her final quilt, but that's going to be the one that inspires this project. For me, I'm going to work with this really cool jelly roll. I've had it for a little while. It's all beautiful lime and celery green batiks and then a beautiful just solid white background. I haven't opened this jelly roll, as you can see, and I'm excited to do that now. It's been in my collection for quite a while and I'm finally excited to find a project to use it with. Let's crack into it. It'll be important to make this quilt work and to make it work well, to make sure I have a nice mix of lights and darks. Love the little bow. Look at that. I'm always afraid a jelly roll is going to kind of explode on me if I'm not careful, but let me just open this up. Look at that. Got all those beautiful greens. So I'm going to make up a sample block, which I will show you. The instructions that Suze gives in her video are good, but I'm going to take a slightly different approach. She has some trimming steps that I think with some adjustments to the cutting I'll be able to avoid. So I'm going to give that a shot and do a trial block. Really excited about this project. I love the optical illusion that she's created with this pattern, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. This project that I'm excited about is inspired by Carol Thean. I'll put a link to her YouTube channel down below, and a 3-dimensional optical illusion quilt that she's created to make blocks. So I've made a couple of sample blocks, and let me show you how they look. Be sure to check out her video, but look at that. I just love the way that that 3-dimensional block jumps out at you. I've made a green sample and I've made a purple sample. I think they look great. And I've got a few other pieces pulled out of my collection, other fabrics that I think will make really great colorful blocks. I've got some red ones cut and some blue ones cut. So I think it's going to be really basic colors. I think I'm going to use this navy blue as my background. You'll see in Carol's video that she links all of the blocks together into a giant mass of tumbling blocks. But as she was going through her video, she laid one of the blocks out as a pillow or as a single block, and she started to lay out groups of 3 or 5. And so I think as this quilt grows, I may put collections of blocks and then a lot of background to let the blocks stand out and pop off the quilt. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how many pieces I'm able to cut. I've raided my stash to find a number of other colors, so there'll be some orange blocks, some teal, some yellow, black, white, and gray, and I'll reuse the red and add a bit of pink. I think it'll be really, really cool when it's finished. The blocks are a little bit time consuming. I've made them a smidge bigger than the pattern that Carol gives you in her video, but obviously from my samples it's worked out well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one turns out as well. I love scrappy quilts and recently went through my collection and pulled off a 5-inch strip of all of the fabrics that I thought fit together. So none of these are brights, none of these are character fabrics, none of these are licensed fabric. They all have that warm, country, comforting charm about them. And so I cut a 5-inch strip off of each of those pieces that I thought would go together to make a really great scrappy quilt. There's the oddball for a pop of color. And then I went ahead and cut them using the tumbler template. This one I got from Missouri Star. Really, really like it. I've used it before. I'll put a couple of photos in the clip so that you can see what the finished product looks like. I love how scrappy it is, but if you select colors that in my view kind of go together, have the same feel about them, it brings a cohesiveness to your scrappy quilt. This will be a quick project, an easy project, but even though it's quick and easy, I still think it produces a spectacular result. Looking forward to it. This project is a sports-themed project for some of the sports fans in my life. I've shopped around, ordered some fabrics online, and found quite the collection of sports-themed fabric. Some is branded. I've got the Washington Capitals and the Sydney Swans, Washington Wizards. Other pieces are just sports-themed, so a bit of baseball, definitely some hockey, some curling, some basketball. It's amazing the amount of themed fabric that's out there if you just look for it. In order to set off these blocks, I'm using a really simple pattern. The original, I believe, came from a Nickel Quilts pattern, a Nickel Quilts book. I'll look that up and see if I can find it and put the description down below. But I've used this pattern in various sizes and shapes over the years. And in this instance, I think it is really simple, but it really lets your blocks shine. So simple matter of cutting the blocks. And then I've made these units that go in as the sashing. And as you put it together, you end up with a star in the middle of the sashing, like that. And so it'll all just be the crazy mixed up scrappy pieces of sports theme with the stars in the middle, a nice dark gray, almost black border to go with all of the black in most of these fabrics. I think it'll set it off really well, and it'll be a little bit of a laugh for the sports fans in my life. And it'll be something to cuddle up with on the sofa while watching sports, of course. I think it'll be a fun project when it's finished. When I'm not making quilts, I also enjoy making little bags, and inspired by YouTube videos, I started to make these little bags and pouches and pencil cases out of candy wrappers or cookie wrappers, and they're so fun. I'll do a tutorial coming up as to my process for making these. I line them, I finish all the edges. Sometimes if it's just a pencil case, it has a hook. I thought this would make a funny evening bag to maybe take to a party one day or just out shopping for the afternoon. I've given a few of these to friends and was recently visiting a friend when he asked me if I could make a candy bag satchel for him, and he did me the favor of emptying the candy. So now I have this Freckles bag. In Australia, Freckles are these little chocolate discs with little candies on them, and asked if I could make a little pencil case or a little candy bag satchel out of them. So that's an upcoming project. I'd like to finish it in time for our next visit, so it'll be a nice little surprise to return the candy bag in a slightly different format. Thank you for watching Bits and Pieces Quilting. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment down below as to what projects you're working on or what projects you are looking forward to working on. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check out my website at www.bitsandpiecesquilting.com. Until next time, take care and make the most of your fabric bits and pieces.